Oh, what's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, we got some leaked statements here from Anthony Robert Bellew, aka Anthony Johnston. Here we go. Preparing for Daniel Dubois. AJ says fans want to see dominance. Now, off the rip, I even got to get to this dude's quote, you know. I worry about it. I've been worrying about AJ. Now people can say, YB, you're broke, he a boss, and he is a boss, and I am broke. That's a fact. Nonetheless though, we can put it to one side. Now we got the pleasantries out the way. Now we got the get on my level out the way. We can now talk turkey, right? It's well documented the YB broke is a joke and he popping it on. It's well documented the YB broke is a joke and Johnston instead of getting flown out to Saudi to get gripped up by next Donny. That's well documented. We're all in agreement there. Now the bottom line, people. Off the rip, without even reading this dude's quotes. Anthony, I want to know who you want to be. Yeah, you see that one there? I want to know what you want to see. I want to know what you want to feel. I don't want to hear, the fans say the fans want to see dominance. I want to hear you say, I'm tired of running from Mr. Blobby after he punched my head off in the first fight. I'm tired of getting my cherry popped by a man who ain't never popped no one's cherry, people. Andy Ruiz can't punch. I had some dude in the comment telling me, IB, you say everyone can't punch. People, what do you want me to do about that? Who's Andy Ruiz stopped? Who? He didn't stop Joseph Parker. Didn't even put him down. He didn't put Joseph Parker down. Didn't stop him. He didn't stop Lewis 70-year-old Ortiz. He didn't stop Chris Arreola. He didn't stop Jarrell Miller or put him down. He didn't put Chris Arreola down. He got put down by Chris Arreola. Yeah? In fact, I want to see more time. I want to see who Andy Ruiz actually stopped. Since we're talking, calling a spade here, let's see who Andy Ruiz has stopped. Because I can't think of one apart from complete bums. And even the complete bums. Bob Arum said, Bob Arum let Andy Ruiz go before 2019 and said, listen man, Andy's a great guy, he's got fast hands, but he cannot punch for toffee. Yeah? No pop. So look, Chris Arreola, 12 rounds. Ortiz, 12 rounds. Miller, 12 rounds. Okay. Oh, he knocked out Johnston. But look at this. Kevin Johnson, 10 rounds. Complete bum. Okay, he knocked him out. Joseph Parker, 12 rounds. Franklin Lawrence, 10 rounds. So, look at this. Rafael Zambano, 10 rounds. This cat here, 10 rounds. This cat here, 10 rounds. These are bums, people. Come on now. How much? What do you want me to do here? Complete bums. Never heard of them day in my life. All these random bums here. This guy had 6 losses. This guy had 14 losses. This guy had 11 losses. And he can't stop none of them in 8 rounds. This one was a 10 rounder. No knockdowns recorded. No knockdowns. No knockdowns. And going into, I'm trying to think. So going into the AJ fight, okay, he stopped Dimitrenko. Tell a lie. I remember actually watching this fight. The Dimitrenko situation, this wasn't even a stoppage in that sense. It wasn't a punch. Dimitrenko's corner stops the bout. So even this fight, yeah? Going into the AJ fight, dude couldn't even put down Kevin Johnson. In fact, he almost, not almost lost, but he only won by 2 rounds, people. Yeah? 97-93 is winning by 2 rounds. Oops. You see that one there, people? Obviously, this judge had it wider. This judge probably Mexican, but these other 2 individuals here had it winning by 2 rounds. So it means it was like 6-4. This cat here had it 6-4. Right? 2 judges had it 6-4. 4 rounds, 40% of the fight, Kevin Johnston won. Dimitrenko, he didn't stop him with punches. This bum here won style. Okay, you stopped him, but you couldn't stop Parker. You couldn't stop Lawrence. Andy Ruiz cannot punch people. Again, YB, you always say this. YB, listen. I tell you that to say, how does the big Johnston get punched up by Andy Ruiz, people, and then come back and have his ass flap for 12 rounds? Not try and eat. Look how Jarrell Miller treated dude. Jarrell Miller went in there and stuck it straight on him like he robbed something. That's what he did. Went straight in there. No play, no games. Stuck it all over him. Had no respect. Yeah, Miller lost the first few rounds. Didn't have no effect though. And that's Miller. That's a clean Miller, who had about a 4-month camp. Who ain't even... Miller himself can't punch a lick, people. He'd been not punching. Just slapping away. Has no power, no speed. So... Andy Ruiz was looking like he was about to cry in there with Miller. How can people... Explain to me, all the anti-homosexuals out there, yeah? Explain to me how the big AJ, big boss, big dude who knock everyone out right, have a go, aggressive. How can he get his cherry popped and come back in the rematch and be scared to death of Mr. Blobby? When Chris Arreola jumped in there and just popped him right in his mouth. And the scorecards here were rigged. Yeah, I'll watch this fight. This fight, again, was a 60-40 fight. Arreola probably lost, but it was taken in the knockdown. I had it 60-40 for Ruiz. It wasn't this kind of fight. It wasn't a 10-1 fight or whatever it was. So forget about that. Chris Arreola went in there, popped him right in his mouth in round 2, and didn't get put down. Jarrell Miller went straight in there, straight on. How can Jarrell Miller go straight in there and stick it all over Ruiz? But Johnson can't. That's the question we're dealing with right now. I'll tell you how. Because Johnson, he don't know really who you want to be. He asking you, oh, the fans want to see this, and who should I be? He was asking Carl Froch, is it right that I stole you 6 belt? Did you... Own it, man. Own something. Either come out and say, listen, people, bum. Mr. Blobby hit me right on my Humpty Dumpty and I ain't really feeling to fight no more. I just want to politic and fanny about. Or... like you tried to say before the Usyk fight, come out and say, bum. Oh man, you know, I don't watch boxers. I'll be watching Big Meat, Larry Hoover. And, I'm from the streets. You try going with that shtick and then you got punched up again. Didn't even fight some more. Didn't even try fight like that. Look at how Jarrell Miller stick it on Andy Ruiz. That's the kind of, again, Miller is limited. He don't have the power. He don't have the cardio. He don't have the speed. But if he can do it, that shows it's a mindset. There was a narrative out there, yeah, that no one could ever walk into Ruiz. You don't want to fight that kind of fight with Ruiz. Oh, you don't want that. He'll knock your head off like he knocked AJ's off. No. Turns out, like was documented, he can't punch for toffee. And Miller went straight in there, stuck it over him, and Andy Ruiz, as you'd expect from a dude who's featuring on the new Super Size Me 2 film, ran out of gas after 4 rounds, and then, he hurt his hand. You know one's there. People always hurt their hand, like Tank Davis. Tank Davis knocked everyone out, and then he went life and death with Pitbull Cruz, and it's, my hand hurt. Come on. Never heard Tank talk about his hand until he went life and death. Do you know what I mean? Don't be doing that, it's annoying. Yeah, all of a sudden Andy Ruiz's hand hurt. Right? His hand hurt him when he was punching Jarrell Miller in the head for 4 rounds, was it? Oh, your hand started hurting after you ran out of gas. And you're looking all sorry for yourself. That's when your hands start hurting. That's convenient, right? Yeah, these big bulbous cats, yeah. They're hard until they get tired. And then when they get tired, they want out of there. They're trying to go to Mickey's. They're trying to go to Wendy's. They're trying to go to Five Guys. That's what they're trying to do with a big Coke. Coke for big Donnies is like oxygen. They don't really be drinking air too much. They just be sipping the Coca-Cola. That nourishes Andy Ruiz. He don't need to breathe so much. Yeah, if Andy Ruiz had a choice between taking 10 breaths or sipping on a Coke, he'd take the Coke every time. He just would. So that's what he was trying to do. He's trying to get to Wendy's stat. Do you understand, people? My point again, Johnston. How are you sitting there saying, I haven't even read him yet, I'm going to get to that in a second, but the fans want to see this. Own it. I want to see this. I'm tired of getting punched up on Mr. Blobby and having to run away from him. I'm tired of being in there politicking with Muffin Top Franklin. What was his name? Martin Franklin or whatever his name was. Went 12 rounds. Boring everyone's head off. I'm tired of going in there with Robert Helenius 2 days notice. And again, even Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew, yeah, he sucked AJ off. Oh, Ant, mate. Ant's my best mate. Ant. Even Tony Bellew in that fight with Helenius was saying, oh, it's looking bad for AJ right now. I'm not going to lie. That's what Tony Bellew was saying. Watch it back. It's there for you. And then AJ knocked him out, and Tony Bellew completely flipped the script and said, I told you he's the most vicious puncher of all time. Wait there, Mr. Tony Bellew. You were just saying about how it could go either way and how Helenius might get back into the fight. It's like, whoa. Yeah? You brand new looking ass. Tony Bellew. Do you understand, people? This guy Own it. It's like he don't want to take responsibility. Same before the Ruiz rematch. He don't want to say that was a bad look. I ain't living that no more. I'd rather live for a moment as a lion than a lifetime as a sheep. Yeah? I'd rather live for a moment as a warrior than a lifetime on my knees for Prince Turkey, Salomon Diddy. Do you understand? I ain't getting on my knees. I'd respect AJ if he came. I said, listen, people, I ain't getting on my knees no more for the Desert Diddy. I ain't doing it. Yeah? That's in the past. I'm looking to eat now. But instead it's like suggestible. He's trying to suggest it. Oh, the fans want to see dominance. Which means if he don't dominate, it's like a get out, well, the fans wanted it, but you know, I had this, what's that Floyd Mayweather thing? It's kind of like win at all costs. Doesn't matter how you win, as long as you nick a fight on points. That narrative. Oh man, you know, I win as long as you win. It's something, but it's more catchy than that. What I'm thinking of, but it's that narrative. Yeah. Oh well, I won, so who cares? No, we care. I care for your psychological state, and you can say you went in there and bowled over Ngannou, but again, fair play to you. Go back and watch people, the Wallin fight. That's not how you remember it. I thought AJ was in the Matrix with Wallin. Watch it back. AJ was in there for 5 rounds with Wallin. Wallin was shitting himself. Didn't want to fight. And AJ was in there doing the same. He just couldn't let it go. He couldn't get stuck in. Again, look at how Jarrell Miller, look at Bacoli. You know what, let's break this down for a second. Look at how Bacoli stuck it all over Anderson. I don't care what none of you man say. Anderson is 10 times more gully than Wallin. Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin, he like them Nordic cats, man. They come on. I actually like the Nordics. Politically speaking, I like the Nordic cats. I like them ones there. Politically, I'm actually more aligned with them. Right? They're more, they just stay out of everyone's business. That ain't the right fighting mentality though. You know, Otto Wallin would do great working in some capacity in the United Nations, making sure everyone getting on. He ain't a fighter like that. He does not. He known for losing to Tyson Fury. That was his come up. And he got in there and his butt was flapping. But AJ wasn't in there saying, I'm looking to eat on this corny dude who don't really want to fight. It must be obvious. But Wallin's in there like, choking. Why don't AJ just say, you know what, I'm going Jarrell Miller on this dude's ass. I'm going Martin Bacoli on this dude's ass. He getting it. I'm just going to post up. Martin Bacoli will just post up there with his feet stuck in the mud. And just have a look. He ain't like, if Wallin would do a feint, AJ would gallop backwards. If Wallin would do anything, like, just post up there, man. Tuck up and bang off. That's what I'm getting at. Jarrell Miller, Martin Bacoli. Yeah? Tuck up and bang off. You ain't got to be second guessing. Second guess what, you big old Mandingo bull? That's what I don't understand. You the big Mandingo bull. Yeah, the big Mandingo bull, he ain't meant to be guessing nothing. You're the thing that makes people guess. You see that one, people? You are what people think about. You ain't... Oh man, the Diddy Mafia got the way bad with that ray there. That ray went straight through my soul, you best believe it. Zapped me off my course for the bars. The Desert Diddy Mafia, they ain't trying to hear no more of these bars. We're cooking this dude here. Yeah? Get on it. Want to dominate yourself. Yeah, I need this. Dubois, he getting it, and I'm sorry. The more I guess I often talk myself into things, but the more I talk about this fight, and the more again I've learnt from the Tyson Fury fight. The Tyson Fury fight, I went a lot based on what I remember. I remember how Fury was doing this against Wilder or doing that, and then I watched it back and I thought after I lost $100 on Fury versus Usyk. I watched them back and I watched back with Michelle and she was saying, what were you watching? And I said, no, you're wrong, Michelle, you're wrong. No, you don't understand. You haven't been watching the game like I've been watching the game. Look at this fight. And I put on Fury versus Vlad. And I sat there like this. Oh my God, this guy's crap. That was his, in my mind, Fury was in there like in the Matrix, like, and just teeing off on Vlad. It was the sloppiest. It was crap, people. Watch that fight back. It's not how you remember it. Same as the Wilder fights. I said, no. That Vlad fight, forget about it then. He wasn't aggressive then. I put on the Wilder fights. 2 and 3. Sloppy. LeakyDefense.com. Leaky defense. And even then, you're getting clipped by a basketball player. Who ain't never clipped no one. Didn't clip Parker, didn't clip Zhang. Didn't clip Bermain Stavern in the first fight when Bermain come to fight. Bermain's like a D-level dude, solid D-level. Wilder couldn't do nothing in his prime. OIB, Fury broke Wilder. If Fury broke Wilder, how come Wilder couldn't knock Bermain out in their first fight? Which is the one that mattered. Oops. That magical power, when someone turned in there with some solid basic boxing skills and some heart, all of a sudden that power disappear. Oops. And yet Wilder, Tyson Fury, not all on the floor and having to peel himself off the mat. Do you understand, people? So I've learnt my lesson. Not to just... Don't look at things based on how you remember it. I bet you'll remember AJ and Wallin just like... No. He was in there butt twitching. So my point is, if your butt's twitching from Mr. United Nations Otto Wallin, representing the Swedish cats, or the Finnish cats, when Dubois in there coming in with his head and bowling them shots off, I'm telling you, if AJ don't get them counters off, or if them counters ain't pinging like you man think they will, because that's another point I keep mentioning, a lot of you cats, yeah, you ain't really look at the evidence. AJ's never been a 1 round or 2 round puncher. Never happened. OIB Ngannou. Come on, people. Forget about Ngannou. As far as every real boxer goes, AJ's never been a puncher like that. Yeah, let's look at the evidence again for you slow cats, because there's enough of you slow man out there who need to be educated. Let me educate some of you man right now. Yeah? Otto Wallin, 5 rounds, was never knocked down in 5 rounds, and he quit, but again, he wasn't battered. It wasn't like AJ was murking him. So Wallin made it 5 rounds. Bumlenius made it 7 rounds. Franklin made it 12 rounds. Usyk. Pulev 9 rounds. Ruiz 12 rounds. Ruiz 7 rounds. Povetkin 7 rounds. Parker 12 rounds. Takam 10 rounds. Klitschko 11 rounds. Even Eric Molina and Dominic Brazil. If anything, really, the Brazil fight's the best example. Brazil got battered, people. A pummeling. And that was in AJ's prime. He battered Brazil, but AJ couldn't finish the job. So AJ's never actually had 1-punch power like that. Again, the Ngannou fight might skew your mind, but the actual evidence, AJ's never been a 1-puncher like that. He can't even get... People, Dominic Brazil is just a big, slow unit. He's not so much a super-sized heavy bag, he's like a long-sized, extra long, and just lanky and gangly. And AJ was pummeling him. But he couldn't get the clip, my point. All the cats telling me, why AJ's going to just clip Dubois. Who he clipped like that? Who? You have to believe that somehow AJ's powers changed because he clipped Ngannou. That's what you have to believe. I don't believe that. The evidence is the power's never been there like that. 1-punch knockout power early in the fight. So it's looking like the odds are, in my opinion, I think it's a good bet. It's going to go longer than 6 rounds. If that makes sense. Which implies what happens in round 4 when AJ. What happens if Dubois gets through the first 2 rounds is the point. And AJ landed his shots and is feeling a bit tired. And Dubois wading in with his head, just bowling hooks over to the side of Johnson's Humpty Dumpty. Oops. What happens then, people, is the question. That's the question. And I'm telling you, from what I've seen, his butt, people, his butt, watch it back. Do yourself a favour. AJ's butt was twitching against Otto Wallin. He was not in there looking to get at it. He was in there boxing with Wallin. Why? Why are you boxing with him for? Box with him for what? Go in there, stick your hands to your head, and just get on him. Because AJ has what Jerome Miller doesn't. He has the power. He has the speed. Miller has that approach well. He can just get forward and slap away, but he's got no power, no speed. It's quite bad to watch Jerome Miller. It's just really frustrating. It's like Jerome Miller fights like I do in a bad dream. It's just you can't get no pop. You can't get no nothing on the end of it, right? AJ has that. So why can't he stick his chin down, put his hands to his head, and just get in there, pop, pop, bang, start whacking away? Why you got to be politicking with Wallin for? Who is another non-puncher? Who's he knocked out? Who's Wallin knocked out? Yeah, 50% KO ratio for a heavyweight who's fought mainly bums. Yeah, this guy has fought mainly bums and still He only went. He only has 50% knockout ratio. This guy's fighting unranked people. He fought an unranked cat here and went 10 rounds, life and death. Yeah? He fought an unranked cat here, 8 rounds, life and death. 8 rounds, life and death. 10 rounds, life and death. 8 rounds, life and death. These are all decisions, people. Yeah? Decisions. Life and death decisions at that. And you want me to believe AJ should have been in there politicking with this guy? No. If you want to justify Andy Ruiz, which I don't now, because Jerome Miller walked straight through him, which showed me what I need to see. If we say Jerome Miller's like a 6, I think Jerome Miller's probably a 5.5 or 6 out of 10 fighter. AJ's got to be a 7.5 or an 8. How can a 5.5 show you how it's done as an 8? There's supposed to be levels. And you should have been shown Mr. Blobby levels. I think the bigger question probably is, though, is AJ protecting the box? His chops, his whiskers. The way he fights is like he knows, hey man, Andy Ruiz can't punch it for toffee. And yet, he put my big ass on the mat. And he put me on the mat a few times still. So maybe that's why AJ's cautious, because he knows if he gets clocked, same as Lawrence Hug-Coley. Lawrence Hug-Coley, yeah, he meant to be badder man from Peckham. Ultimately, his back end drops out when it comes to actually fighting. He's a great bum slayer though. He got that kind of wilder niche, just knock the bums out. But when he get in over proper, when he in a proper fade, his back end drop out. He don't want to fight, right? So are these men protected in the moody chops? That has to be a realistic thing now, because Jerome Miller, he believes in his chops, and he comes straight forward and he takes shots. He got stopped by Dubois, so he could have been worried, like, oh damn, I got stopped for the first time in my career. He comes straight back in there on his job. I respect that from Miller. Straight back in there on his job. Johnston, he fell off. He turned into a ballerina for 5 years, and now he's apparently back. And he's telling us, oh, the fans want to see me do this. And what do you want to do? I want to hear you say you want to do this, Johnston. I want to show dominance for the first time in probably 10 years. Anyway, I've rambled on, yeah, but more time. Let's get to the quotes. Oh my god, it's 22 minutes. I've done way too much. I apologise, people. Boring your heads off. Proper boring you off. You can say so. So on 21st September, we will find out which tier Dubois, his next opponent, fits into. But Joshua will, as usual, enter the ring mentally prepared and agrees too that these days he is a different fighter. So Johnson's saying he's a different fighter. You can say so. Always developing, always learning. Come on. I hate them bars from John. I hate them political bars from Johnston. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's really irritating, man. You've been saying that though, right? That was the whole, and I was backing it, I ain't gonna lie. After AJ lost to Ruiz, we was all saying, yeah, he needs to learn, and he's, no. Well, I was telling him to get at it. I was telling him to stick his hands to his head and have a go. That's what I was telling him. But a lot of the anti-homosexuals were saying, oh, no, YB, he's learning different facets, he's doing this. Learning is a cop-out, man. It's a cop-out for just bullshitting. That's what I think. Oh, I'm still learning. Yeah, people have been telling me AJ's learning for like 10 years. It's like, how much more learning you got to be doing, all due respect? How long do you... Oh, people tell me, oh, AJ only had this many amateur fights and 10... It's like, whoa, people. How much more you need to learn? Now. Stick your hands to your head. Learning's a cop-out for being hard at this point. Once you're 10 years into anything, yeah? Learning's a cop-out for being hard. If you still need to learn after 10 years, you just don't want to be hard. That's what I believe. Especially in this game. I do look back at my old fights as well. At the end of the day, there were different types of opponents. I could have been beating a lot of lesser challenging opponents for many, many years. I could have been coming into my world title years now. But I've done it early. So it's quite conceited. He thinks he's done something. He thinks he's like proper... Did us a favour. Bro, you was, all due respect, you was around in one of the weaker eras. Right? Let's call a spade here. You was out here fighting 40-year-old Pulev, 40-year-old Povetkin. Not your fault, but let's call a spade. You weren't really doing it. Yes, you wanted Wilder. Wilder did duck you. Fury did duck you. Which is not your fault. You did want to fight the best. Equally, what you have done is got punched up by a cruiserweight, and then the rest was old man. Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby punched you up, cruiserweight punched you up, and this guy's old, Pulev old, Povetkin old. Parker didn't come to fight and shit himself, and you couldn't punch him up, couldn't stop him. Takam old. And then Klitschko half punch you up. So come on, people. Let's be realistic here. What AJ really done? Apart from lose to 3 times. Once to Mr. Blobby never should happen. I don't care if it's your worst day or not. And twice to a cruiserweight. That's what you've done. If I'm honest with you. What pound for pound wins does AJ have on his resume? Okay, you might say Klitschko, but he's 50. He's 50 years old. Are you man slow or something? What are you not getting here? He was 50. How can you be pound for pound if you're 50? And you lost to Fury already. So forget about Vlad. Is Takam pound for pound? No. In terms of that, like even for heavyweights, was Takam a pound for pound top 10 heavyweight? No. Parker probably was. He was in the mix, but it's like, really? What Parker done? Go laugh and death for Andy Ruiz at that point. Povetkin, old. Andy Ruiz, again, nobody, 10-1 underdog. Oops, pops in your mouth. Pulev, old. And then Usyk punch you up. There's no top 10 Ring Magazine heavyweight on here. There's not. I'd say Dubois will be the first Ring Magazine top 10 heavyweight AJ's beat, if he beats him. Because none of these men are. They're just not. Povetkin might have been 5 years before. Parker might be now, after beating Zhang and Wilder. At the time, though, he was just a chance, it felt like. Takam definitely wasn't. Ruiz definitely wasn't. Pulev, maybe 10 years ago, might have been there. Vlad just knocked him out with the left hook, slapped him right in his head for him. Anyway, I've rambled on way too much. Let's do some more of the last bit of quotes. So what I'm trying to say is that when I'm fighting guys, it's hard to look unbelievable against someone that's basically has the same level as you. World Championship fights, they're 50-50. Again, exactly what I'm saying. This guy, he's setting the scene. Oh, you know, I don't just in case I go life and death or get punched up with this guy. I want you, man, to know that, you know, it's hard to look good against someone. You ain't thinking right, Johnston. You should be feeling like, this guy, I'm fixing to make whatever out of him. Yeah, I'm fixing to didify this guy. I'm fixing to desert Diddy this guy, Dubois. Yeah? That's what I'm fixing to do. He ain't on my level. What? You can't go around everywhere. In this game, in sport, yeah, you can't go around thinking everyone's on your level or just as good. I'm not saying you should have false bravado. Like, oh, just be a cornball like Tyson Fury, who didn't really believe it. But you need to get in that ring and believe. Especially when it's this situation where you should really win. And believe in yourself, man. He ain't on my level, and I'm going to pop him right in the mouth, and he's going to be bent out of shape from it. You can't be setting the scene almost... I mean, this here's scene setting for losing or having a close fight on points. It's hard to look unbelievable against someone that's on your level. Well, these are things that don't need to be said. We all get that, right? Everyone, that's a non-statement. But what's your point? Oh, you're telling us that you might go life and death in this fight because you don't really want to squabble like that. And then you say, he walks it back. So he's saying here, he's lowering expectations here. Hey guys, it's 50-50. I might go 12 rounds and shit myself like I was doing with Wallin. When Dubois come in with his head and start bowling them Humpty Dumpty clippers. Then he walks it back and tries to say, oh, but I get it. People, they expect a lot. They want to see dominance. So what you're basically saying is, hey man, I'm probably going to go life and death in this fight and win on points, if at all. But I understand the fans' frustration because they want to see dominance. I don't. I just want to get in there and get out and be safe, which is fine to do. Right? It's fine to be safety first. It don't make you a 4-time world champion, though, in my book. You could never be a world champion being safety first and stealing someone's belt. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like up the bell, 100% on that. But people stop.